always want to provide something of value. I love talking about ways to make your agency more profitable, ways to run your business on your terms, understanding how much it costs you to provide your services, setting your rates, and not really being too loosey-goosey on them and sticking with them. It all works towards the stepping stones to build a profitable agency on your terms. The lowest paying clients in your business will 100% of the time always, 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 always be the biggest pain in the ass. Every single time I bend to make an exception because I really want to help somebody out, I really want to get somebody exposures to help them grow their business so that I can be a part of it, I always kind of live to regret it because they end up being the most needy, the most demanding. They're second guessing everything you're doing because that investment to them is so major that they're uncertain about it and they feel really nervous about whether or not things are happening or if they're happening fast enough. My clients that pay the highest retainers, they leave us alone because they know they're investing in the value that we bring. They know they're investing in the best possible service and they can afford it. And that's the best kind of client. So we're going to get you those kinds of clients. So we're going to talk about how to set your prices and stick to them. And we need to talk about it in two different ways. Yeah. It's just a common, like, let's just call it a rule in our business, in a service-based business. I'm not at your beck and call. It's like, but they expect that you are. And and that's another thing, is setting boundaries. Like, all of this ties together, guys. So, but we're going to talk about this in two different ways. One is for people who have no idea what they should be pricing themselves at. And two are people who have already set rates, but maybe they're not high enough, or they're reconsidering them, or you just don't even know. Like, what I feel happens is we tend to set our rates at what we think the client can pay or what sounds reasonable as you're figuring out your rates and what you should charge for your services. Like, do I think this client can pay this? Well, they're just starting out. They're kind of new. It's smaller business. Can they pay this? I don't know. Maybe I should come in a little lower. We've all done it. And sometimes I still do it. And I talk all about why and when to make exceptions. It's all about making exceptions when something is really, truly aligned with the direction you want to take your company in. You know that this brand is or this potential client is going to really beef up your portfolio in a niche that you're really looking to, deepen your ties in. So there are some exceptions. It's very common to, come in and you put all of this work into a beautiful proposal, and then you struggle with that number and you look at it on the page and you think, this sounds high, but like, high to who and high for what reason, right? So for beginners, when you need to set your rates to start off with, you have to figure out how you price your services, like what you should be charging. So like, is there an industry standard for the kind of niche that you're working in? Are you basing your rates on your level of experience? Are you brand new? You're just starting out. You really are looking to gain experience. Like, I've talked a lot about when I started, I was an attorney, right? I had like no training or experience whatsoever. I didn't even have contacts, but I got my start offering my services for free for a limited period of time. And then we pivoted to paid clients and came in below market to give those clients an opportunity to see how hard we'd work and what kind of results we could get. And then we reevaluated, and those clients, and that first client ended up working with us for 11 years, and we got them up to market rate and all of that, but it helped to kind of build a path towards a niche that we're now really known in. So in those instances, when you are just starting out, you can base your rates on your level of experience and kind of offer somebody for a limited period of time a lower rate so that you can get in with them and let them know it's a set period, and then you'll reevaluate. Because if you just come in and you're like, oh, this is the rate and we'll like figure it out and I don't know when, you're never going to be able to ask for more money unless you offer more services. So, like I said, when you're just starting out, you can offer a discounted rate if it's a really great client. If you want to get that experience, you want to get testimonials, get a really good case study. If you're just starting out, trying to go down those paths, stepping stones to work with brands that you really want to support and get case studies, get testimonials, get results that you can leverage when you're just starting out. You also need to know, what does it cost you to perform these services? What do you want to make in a year? What's your revenue goal? And then break that up over, clients, retainers, like how many clients can you serve at one time? If you bring in a team, how much does it cost for them to execute the services? How much profit margin do you have on their services? All of that has to come into the calculation, because we've worked with women in our agency accelerator that came to us and they had really good revenue, but they were making no money because they really had no exposure awareness to what was actually going into running their business, what their expenses were, what their team cost, and all of that. I know a lot of you on here are more established PR pros, so you are reconsidering your current rates. If you do have some experience, don't be tempted to discount your rates. Once you've set them, I want you to be confident in them. You're the one in charge. You're the expert. You don't have to negotiate. If you want to negotiate, great. I love a great negotiation. Come in high. Don't come in at your rate that you want to get. You got to come in high so there's wiggle room, right? So you've got to know what is your floor of what you absolutely will not accept anything below. So don't negotiate unless you've built in a pad for negotiation. And sometimes I'll build in a PITA tax. You guys know what that is. Pain in the ass premium. If you can tell that a client's going to really just be a lot of work, they are pretty demanding, and you're kind of like, take it or leave it, and you take your normal rate and you bump it up and you're like, this is it. Sometimes they'll take it and you're like, wow, for that price, I could deal with your BS. That's fine. I can hire people with that rate to deal with your nonsense. There's that sometimes. And then also there's just pricing it so high that you really just kind of don't want the work, or building in a pad to come down for negotiation, but only if you've already done that. Don't come in and be like, I want to make $4,000 a month. Here's my proposal. And they're like, that's not in budget. And you're like, okay, well, what is in budget? Don't do that, right? You're in charge. Don't negotiate. It's important to know your worth and be selective about who you work with. We're going to talk about that next week. Really juicy topic. It's coming, talking more about those considerations. But you need to be charging what you're worth in order to truly grow and scale your agency. This is one of the very first things that you need to do, because this allows you to, be profitable, bring in a team. That's where you really scale. I want you to be running businesses that support the kind of life you want. I want you to be profitable so you can bring in support, build a team, work in your zone of genius, not doing every little single thing every single day in your business, because you will get burnt out. And part of the foundation, the biggest part of a solid foundation of running a profitable agency, is your revenue and what you're charging, right? And if your clients want to come and negotiate, you're never going to scale. You've got to know what it costs you to execute these services, why you're charging what you're charging, and it should not be a calculation in your mind based on what sounds reasonable that the client can pay. And part of it is just having that confidence and just, not everybody gets to work with you. Go forth, confidently set your prices, charge what you're worth, charge based on the value you bring.